Hey guys, so since our last gun nut video, I suppose we should call it an anti-gun nut video, there's been yet another massacre in the US, and surprisingly it was by a weedy little dweeb, hey? Which is exactly what we talked about in the last video. That all that talk about, you know, if they don't have a gun they'll use a baseball bat or a knife or a bomb or a car or a piece of steak. But as mentioned in that video, you know, quite often these dweeby little dudes wouldn't be able to do it with a knife or a baseball bat. If he'd walked into that church with a baseball bat or a knife and tried to attack people, he wouldn't have lasted very long, would he? A bunch of dudes would have jumped on him, given him a good pummeling and thrown him out the back door. But it turns out that he could walk into a shop a few weeks beforehand and buy himself a gun. Isn't that great? Isn't that great that he can go and buy himself a gun? So I take it Alabama's a place where it's quite easy to own a gun, so you'd have to assume there's lots of guns, and yet here we are having a big massacre, which isn't a surprise to the thinking people. Wasn't actually going to make this video because it's sort of pointless, because, you know, the massacres just continue. It's always the same pattern. Massacre happens, everyone goes, ooh, you know, and then it just goes back to normal again. Wasn't going to make the video, but there's just a couple of things. One was, I wanted more information about it. So I was looking for, like different news sources, because it's interesting to have a look at the different news sources and the different reports to try and, because if you look at them all, it gives you a bit more of a rounded idea of what's going on. If you only look at one, you're going to get some biased bullshit. So I always try and look at a few from a few different sources, a few inside America, a few outside America, just a few different ones, and get some different ideas. Very hard to find them on YouTube. What it was pages and pages of videos of bullshit, of paranoid fucking gun nut conspiracy Illuminati turkeys talking about how it's a false flag, it's another false flag. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, you'd think, unbelievable. It's just incredible that I mean, if you did have those beliefs, you'd think you'd at least have the decency to keep them to yourself. Can you imagine if it was one of your family members killed in that church, and you've got to hear all this bullshit from all these conspiracy nuts talking about it being a false flag? It's so disrespectful. You know, I mean, great. It's great to have freedom of speech and everything, and that's all fantastic. But you know, you'd think the gun nuts would just hold their comments just for a little while, just to show some respect. But no. They're all on about how it's a false flag. One guy's on about it being an Illuminati conspiracy and all this sort of bullshit. Why is it so hard to accept that some deranged... He's not evil, because evil's just a bloody religious construct. There's no such thing as evil. He was a crazy young racist dickhead who's walked in there with a gun and killed a whole heap of people. Why is that so hard to believe? Why do we have to try and make it that this young redneck has to be connected to some big conspiracy thing? You know, why is the reality so hard to believe? I mean, I'm all for being skeptical about things and having a good look at them, but sometimes the truth is so fucking obvious that to go off on a conspiracy Illuminati fucking tangent, you know, I mean, it's just grasping at straws. You know, it really is. And then all those videos, they all seem to be the same. All these gun nuts trying to say, oh, this is just another Obama conspiracy to try and strengthen the gun laws and take away my guns. You're not taking away my guns. What a fucking irrational thing. You know, that thing, we talked about last time, that thing is so deep in the American psyche about the guns and safety thing. Guns, we need guns for our freedom, we need guns for our safety. It's so deep in there that even when you have a classic example like this, again, I mean, how many's that been in the last 10 years? It's ridiculous, isn't it? Wasn't it 31 since Columbine? There's been 31 massacres since Columbine, something like that. Huge numbers of them, you know, and to be able to just ignore that and then go on about how it's a big conspiracy to take away our guns. I mean, there's no other country in the world when that would happen. Any other country in the world, if you had someone run around, someone walk into a shop, buy a gun, a couple of weeks later go and shoot a whole heap of people, any other country in the world would be saying, why did that young crazy fucker have a gun? You know, why is it only that country where the reaction to that is, geez, it's a dangerous world, we'd better hand out more guns? And there was a statistic from French TV. They quoted some statistics, and I mean, you know, again, statistics, you know, you don't know where they came from, but they said that a few years ago, 60% of Americans thought that a gun in the house made you less safe, and then recently, 30% of Americans were saying they thought a gun in the house made you less safe. So that this constant, this is, again, in that last video I said this is why moderate people have to talk about this, and anti-gun people have to talk about this, because it's got so deep into the American psyche, the connection between guns and safety, that even when some bullshit like this happens, they're still saying it. You know, when a whole bunch of innocent people are killed by a lunatic with a gun, their solution to that is hand out more guns. If those people in that church had all been packing heat, it wouldn't have happened. You know, for fuck's sake. Yeah, it probably would have, because what would happen, he would have walked into the back of the room, started shooting, and probably someone, if they all were packing heat, probably after he'd shot a few of them, someone would have shot him, if they didn't accidentally shoot someone else. I mean, you know, it's not Hollywood movie, it's not Clint Eastwood, you know, shooting one person in the middle of a crowd. You know, people start shooting in a place like that, it's not gonna stop people dying, it's just gonna mean different people are gonna die. It's just so irrational. It's so irrational. It's ridiculous. And the other thing was that all this stuff was all conspiracy nuts and gun nuts, and because they all react, the gun nuts all react, and they have to say something about how, well, if we had more guns we'd be okay. You know, I mean, it'd be a really good time if you're a gun nut just to stay quiet, you would think. But no, it's because there's not enough guns, that's the problem, and this is all a conspiracy by Obama to take away our guns, but really we need more guns. Unbelievable. But the other thing that was amazing was those videos that were actually by the news organisations about this thing weren't getting that many views. They didn't. None of the stories about that massacre actually made it to the front page of YouTube. Isn't that amazing? So it's become so passé in America. It's become so normal that these massacres happen that nobody was even interested in looking at them. There's all that usual YouTube crap on the front page of, you know, just fucking bloggers going shopping at the supermarket and shit. No one was even interested in the massacre because they've got so used to it. Isn't that incredible? And yet, if it was a terrorist, if it was you know, a Muslim guy who'd done it, there'd be a huge big thing on at the moment, wouldn't it? And they'd be heading off to bomb some country. Right, who can we bomb? Where can we go bomb some people? You know, because the terrorist, you put the word terrorist on it, or Muslim terrorist on it, and straight away the whole country goes, right, well, we have to go and do something about that. But it's just another American killing lots of Americans again. No one seems to give a shit. It's like, oh, well, we better hand out more guns then. Unbelievable. I made the comment on that last video, someone was talking, some very intelligent person left a very intelligent comment about, you know, how many Americans are slaying each other compared to how many are actually killed by terrorists, you know. And it's a really good point. The terrorists must be laughing their ass off. Because really the terrorists aren't killing that many Americans, really. 9/11 was terrible, but since 9/11, you know, Muslim terrorists really haven't been killing that many Americans compared to how many Americans are killing Americans. The terrorists must be laughing their ass off. The Americans are doing a better job at killing each other than the terrorists are doing of killing Americans. Those guys must be loving it. They must be Allah Akbaring up a storm, sitting around watching that shit on YouTube. Check this out. You know, Weedy there's gone and shot eight other Americans. Check him out. Anemic, skinny little dweeb has gone and killed another 8 Americans. It's just fucking tragic. And again, it's the innocent people. It's not the gun nuts that got killed. It's the innocent people again that got killed by the gun nut. You know, if he couldn't have got that gun, what would he have done? You know, he would have made a bomb. Well, maybe. Yeah, really? Do you think so? You know, it doesn't fit into the whole psyche of it. The going into the mass shooting thing's part of the psyche too. For the nutcases, it comes to mind. Because he's grown up, he's like 20 years old, he's grown up seeing massacres. So that's been planted in his head. If there's a group of people you don't like, go get a gun and go and shoot them. I find it hard to imagine that he would have made a bomb, left it under the school and walked away and let it go, under the church, let it go bang. It seems pretty unlikely. And he sure as hell wouldn't have done it with a knife or a baseball bat, would he? You know, but he just walks into a shop, give me that gun there, let's go kill some people. Fucking ridiculous. And then to defend it, the logic, the lack of logic. Another intelligent person left an interesting comment on the video too. Can't remember how he said it, but he said it really well. That, you know, because the gun nuts are always saying, show me the proof, show me the proof. Well, go and look for yourself. Try searching guns make countries more dangerous. Because you go and search guns make us safer, you'll get the bloody bullshit that supports that. Go and search the opposite and have a look at the opposite argument. It's not our job to educate you, but someone tried that with this guy. Someone said, prove it to me, prove it to me. Well, nobody owes you anything. You know, and as I said in the last video, trying to prove stuff to gun nuts is a waste of time. Because what happens is, even when you do give them something that proves what they just said is total bullshit, then they just ignore it and lay out the next one and lay out the next one. It's that cyclic argument thing where when you do address one of their bullshit fucking pieces of nonsense, they come back with another bullshit piece of nonsense. So it's sort of, it's pointless. It's pointless even talking to them. But this guy's, some gun nut has said to this guy, prove it to me why guns are bad, right? Something like that. And this guy's answer was, well, my proof is look at the world. You know, you've got America that's, everyone's got a gun and it's got, you know, everyone's killing each other. And you've got the rest of the world where people don't have guns, usually, and everyone's happy and the crime rates are lower and there's less people dying. You know, it's, that was a good point of view. Well, just have a look at that. Why is that? And why aren't countries that have a little bit of crime not saying, hey, let's hand out guns to everybody. Let's follow the American example. The Americans have got it right. Everybody having a gun makes us safer. Let's hand out guns to everybody. That'll stop crime. There's not any country in the world that's decided that's a good idea. For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. It's just tragic. It's just tragic. It really is. It's just tragic to watch. And then what happens is there's a bit of a furor about this. A couple of people say we really should give up the guns, and all the gun nuts go, no, 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 and shout them down, and then it just dies down again until the next massacre. When's the next one going to be? You know? I actually made the comment on one video about how the massacres in America aren't that unusual. Someone said, oh wow, after you just made this other video there was a massacre, and I said, well, it's not that unusual. And then there was a discussion about what unusual means. It's, you know, oh no, you know, it makes it so... Really? Really? How many people are surprised when they hear there's been a gun massacre in the US? Nobody? Who's surprised? Who is really surprised when they hear that? It's like, oh, yeah, there it goes again. Isn't that tragic? Now, that'll be because there's 200 million guns or however many there is. Yeah, some people are going to get shot with guns. That's what's going to happen. Start collecting them. Bring them in. Start collecting them now. This year. Start collecting them, and they'll go down and down and down and down and down, and then you'll end up living in a civilized country in the 21st century. The reference to 1850 is that 1850 everyone needed guns to shoot rattlesnakes and cattle rustlers and ornery critters, ornery characters, ornery people. It's now the 21st century, you know. That's why I make that 1850 reference. It's not 1850 anymore. Toting guns is really uncivilized. It really is. It's an embarrassment. I'd be embarrassed to be living in the US and having these things happening. You know, pretending to be leader of the free world and, you know, the leader of liberty and all that sort of bullshit. And to have such shit going on a regular basis and not do anything about it except hand out more guns, I mean, that'd be embarrassing. It's terrible. As a fellow human being, I'm embarrassed by it and just you know, dumbfounded by it. As a fellow human being, to see other human beings doing this, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You keep handing out guns, people keep getting shot, and you keep handing out more guns. What the fuck are you doing? You know, go and travel. The people who've travelled and been to other countries, you know, go to some other countries in Europe and go to some other countries around the world and see the other options. The other ways to live. There's better ways to live. Someone tried to make the argument, we get this now and again, oh, 'cause America's different though because it's diverse. We've got a diverse races and that's why it's different. Bullshit. There's a lot of countries that have diverse races. Go check Europe out. Everybody's there. You know, everybody's in Europe. Everybody's in Australia. You know, America's different. It's not different. The only difference is there's 200 million guns and that attitude. That's the other difference. Is that selfish attitude that I don't give a fuck about all those innocent people dying. I want my gun. And that deep embedded psyche thing about how guns equal freedom, guns equal rights, guns equal safety, guns equal all that bullshit. Only those people in America believe that. No one else believes that. You know, there's no other country as a whole that believes that. Otherwise, everybody would be having the same laws with everybody having a gun. No one's followed America on that. A lot of people have followed America on a lot of other stuff. They've looked at America and gone, that's a good thing. That's a good, the freedom of the press and all that sort of stuff. Good thing, good thing, good thing, good thing. You know, and lots of people have followed America on other stuff. Nobody's followed America on the guns. Because to everyone else, it's obvious. It's like, well, that's pretty fucking stupid. Don't be handing out guns to everybody. People are too fucking fucked up for that. The percentage of nuts. Look in the comment section underneath this video. Look at those fuckheads. You want to hand those people guns? Sorry to the nice people, I'm sorry. But, I mean, look at the percentage of people. When any public forum, when you look at the percentage of crazy fuckers with limited intelligence but big attitude, you know, and big confidence but very limited intelligence, you really want to hand that person a gun? You know, a lot of them are not real bright but super confident in their own beliefs and aggressive. You really want to hand those people guns? That's exactly what that anemic little fucker in the church was. You just imagine that guy. He had all these opinions, didn't he, about races, and he wanted it to be like apartheid South Africa and stuff. What a fucking idiot. You know, let's give him a gun. You know? It's like that comedian Jim Jeffries said, you know, we've got to go with the lowest common denominator. And he said about the drugs, you know, drugs are great, but we can't hand out drugs to everybody because not everybody can deal with them. And the guns are the same. You know, the guns, you keep introducing guns into your society, everyone's going to get them. And that includes all these fucking idiots as well. Collect all the guns, and then no one's got any guns. Then these anemic little fuckers will just sit at home and watch TV. You know, the tiny little weedy little fucking dweebs with bad attitudes, if they haven't got a gun, what are they going to do? Stay home and play video games, you know? That's where they belong. Don't give them guns. And it's not handing that particular guy that you keep introducing them into your society. They'll find their way through to those idiots. Start collecting them. Start collecting them. Melt them. Melt them down. Keep collecting them. Pay the owners. Here's the money for your gun. No questions asked where you got it from. Give me the gun. I'll give you money. Go away. And just keep collecting them, melting them down. Stop handing them out. Shut down the gun shop. Stop handing them out. Keep collecting them. It's the only way to go. Okay, more videos coming soon. Hopefully it won't be because of another fucking gun massacre. But anyway, we'll see. More videos coming soon.